we have from what has been happening and discussions and matamshi kutoka kwa some of the leaders in Kenya. First of all, we want to wish all Kenyans a very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And even as we travel to be with our loved ones, let's drive safely, let's observe traffic rules, and let's not overlap the way we saw it being done when people were going to Nakuru. Yesterday, Sunday, was a very unfortunate day because we saw the former deputy president addressing a gathering at a church. And the unfortunate thing is that his address was full of insinuations, full of ethnic balkanization, and full of ethnic incitement. He talked about alcoholism and selling of alcoholic products in Kenya, kind of insinuating that illegal alcoholic products are being made and being directed by the government to be sold only in a particular part of Kenya and to only one ethnic community, which unfortunately is not true. The president has strived to get the Kenyans to work together, Kenya to be a one nation, and all the 52 tribes to be together. And his insinuation is unacceptable because we believe that this is probably the reason why he was impeached. It started with shareholding issues, and it ended up in his impeachment, and him insinuating that the president is directing alcoholic products to be sold only to one particular community is very, very unfortunate. And I want to call on the National Integration and Cohesion Commission to take this matter very, very seriously and investigate it. And he needs to be brought to answer and to provide evidence that this is so. I believe that any organization that does business in Kenya does it under license, and they do it based on business needs. And if there are any organizations that are not properly licensed, that's an issue for authorities to be dealt with, which he needs to point out. But insinuating that organizations were relicensed to make alcohol, and they are making poisonous alcohol with specific and strict direction that they will only be sold to people, to Nakuru, to Kirinyaga, to Nyeri, to Laikipia, to Kiambu, to Murang'a, and Nyandarua is very, very, very unfortunate because licensing is a national issue, and the products being made must be of quality that is acceptable to Kenya Bureau of Standards. And where products fail in meeting the standards, then there are legal procedures and processes to address it, not going for ethnic incitement. And Reverend Kobia, who's the chairman, we are calling upon you to take this issue, more particularly the presentation and the speeches of incitement that the former deputy president made yesterday in Naivasha. Thank you. I think I'll start by referring to the president's first visit to Nyanza when he was appointed when he became president in September 2022. The first county he visited was Homa Bay County. And I think that was late November, beginning of December. And I clearly remember his statement, which he said that he was on a mission to change Kenya and unite Kenya. And we were very grateful and thankful, and we've seen him doing that he brought Raila and the ODM team into government, and he's now brought the Jubilee team with Uhuru into government. I think is something that's very commendable. He's putting the country together. And that's the future we want. All the 52 communities of Kenya working together. Umoja ni nguvu, na utengano ni udhaifu. And that's what the president is doing. The second thing is that, the reason why we have NECADA is because we recognize that alcohol is a national problem. And Honorable Widi has just given you statistics that the biggest consumer of illicit drinks is in Western Kenya, and the biggest consumer of legal drinks, what one would call legal drinks, is Nairobi, followed by Central. But the 51 companies were actually registered. The government will not register an illegal company. The government will not register a product whose quality it cannot control. And if RiggyG would say that, listen, this company is not registered, of the 51 companies. These are the products that they manufacture, which are not registered, which do not comply. And having been a pharmacist, I can tell you that the biggest contaminant of alcohol or ethanol is methanol. If they could come and tell us that the level of methanol is X, the level of esters or ethers is X, we would listen. But this is just a sweeping statement. And to make it worse, going to say that the government has directed that these illegal drinks only be sold in Central Province, in Muranga, in Kiambu, in Nyeri, in Laikipia, in Nyandarua, and in Nakuru. And you can see, it is a calculated statement. He's basically pointing to the counties where the majority of the people who live there are Mount Kenya people. But what I can tell you, he's mistaken. I'm a former governor of Nairobi. I know Nairobi and Nairobi communities like the back of my hand. Mount Kenya community comprised nearly 36% of the Nairobi residents, and every community of the 52 communities in Kenya wako hapa Nairobi, na hakuna mtu ambaye atasikia maneno yake. Mimi nilisimama kwa ODM, baadaye sikuchaguliwa in 2017, lakini naweza kuambia Wakenya wote wako pamoja vile wanataka Kenya wawe pamoja. Na ningependa kusema Reverend Kobia ambaye ni mwenyekiti wa the National Integration and Cohesion Commission na ma-commissioners wake, people kama Makori, people kama Mheshimiwa Kundi, waende waangalie maneno kwa ajili hii incitement, ethnic incitement, trouble incitement, hii kitu adiishe. Unless Reverend Kobia and his team are going to tell us that they're a toothless bulldog. Kama hawezi kufanya chochote, wa resign. Wawachie watu ambao wanaweza kufanya hiyo kazi. But we cannot have somebody who just goes on chokoza Kenyans, trying to divide us. Anataka tutengane, wanataka tusipendane. Reverend Kobia and his team, we must only not act but seem to act. If they don't do anything, we'll call upon them to resign.
Carrying on from where governors left, I wish to state that it is quite unfortunate. Words coming out of the mouth of His Excellency, the former Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, a man of his stature, should understand that we have one country called Kenya. Now, the issue of trying to radicalize one community against the government of the Republic of Kenya is uncalled for. Because if we can be honest and have an honest discussion and conversation as a country, for example, in the past few days, His Excellency the President has nominated a few cabinet ministers, all from one community. And the rest of Kenya is okay, because we understand and we actually appreciate the fact that the President wishes the country well and is giving the people who deserve an opportunity to serve, time to serve. And so, who will speak for the marginalized and the small communities? For example, I come from the Kisii community. We only have one CS. Now, other communities have 7 CSs. They hold about 40% of this government, and no one is saying anything. So really, what we should be saying is that let the president be given an opportunity to appoint whoever they seem and deem fit to serve in whichever capacity, and that is what has happened. And so sensualizing issues and making the president look like he's just appointing people from one community is not the best route to go. And so I just wish to say that Your Excellency, the former Deputy President, please give the country an opportunity to move forward. Thank you.
My name is Kenny Dubuya. I'm the Honorable Chairman for UDA Homabay County. I am sad by the statements made yesterday by Mr. RiggyG Gachagua on the person of the President of the Republic of Kenya, our party leader, and also on government officers. It is sad that the church has given Mr. RiggyG Gachagua a platform to profile government appointees and also to isolate the Kikuyu community. It is sad some of us standing here have been privileged to have been elected in cosmopolitan areas by majority of the Kikuyu community. As people who have represented the face of this republic, we do not take it for granted because we feel and we are cognizant of the efforts and the presence of the Kikuyu and Mount Kenya communities. As the UDF fraternity, we do not take it for granted because the peace that we hold in this nation is key to the stability and continuity and the progress of all communities in this nation. Therefore, as UDF fraternity, we want to condemn strongly that Mr. RiggyG Gachagua should stop profiling government appointees, should respect